I'll do anything, why did they give the job to someone else?
I don't get it. They had job openings, so why wasn't I offered one?
I needed that job. Why didn't they give me a chance?
Don't employers recognize a hard worker when they see one?
Curtis and Associates presents First Impressions, the key to successful interviewing. Have you ever applied for a job you knew you were qualified for, and yet the employer offered the position to someone else? Well, it's happened to most of us, and it's a frustrating experience, right? Why do employers hire the people they hire? Is it because they have more experience than we do, more education? Let's look at some research that came from Washington, D.C. that shows what determines success in an interview. If you guessed lack of experience was the reason you weren't chosen, you may be wrong. By the time you reach the interview, experience only determines 10% of your success. Miscellaneous, or things we can't control, can also be the reason we weren't selected. For example, maybe the employer wants a man, or someone younger, or someone older, or a redhead. In these instances, we can't do anything about it. But let's look at the other factors. 35% of success in an interview is determined by how responsive we are. What does that mean? Well, if you are thinking responsiveness is how we answer questions and how enthusiastic we are about working, you're absolutely correct. Employers hire persons they like. Wouldn't you? And look at packaging. According to research, 45% of our success in an interview is packaging. Our resume, our application, and our appearance all contribute to the first impression that we make. This may help explain how someone else was offered the job opportunity, and not only are packaging and responsiveness important, but employers judge us on the first impressions that we make, as our first 7 steps, our first 7 words, and in the first 7 seconds of the interview. Isn't this hard to believe? However, consultants at Curtis and Associates interview employers all over the country, and most admitted they have made judgments based on their first impressions, and they shared their biggest red flags with us. I'd like you to meet some job seekers who don't know what employers are looking for. You're the judge. You decide what are those red flags and who you would hire. Let's see how important appearance, responsiveness, and first impressions are to you.
Can I help you?
Yeah, man, do you have any jobs?
What kind of a job are you looking for?
Well, what do you have?
We have some dishwashing job openings. Do you want to fill out an application?
Yeah, I bet.
There's one of our applications on the table.
Okay. Do you got a pen on you?
Yes, there is a pen.
And don't you have a phone book?
Now, would you hire Tony? Did it take you long to make a decision? What advice would you give him so that he could make a good first impression? Tony wasn't prepared for a job interview, was he? He needed to show the employer that he wanted to work. Did you have suggestions for improving his appearance? Even if you expect to wear casual clothes when working, research has proven that employers hire those of us who dress more professionally for an interview. And they encourage us to wear the nicest clothes, shirts, skirts that we own, and to have our hair combed, take off our hats. Would you have been more impressed if Tony had known about the company and the position he was seeking? Did he have what he needed to fill out an application? Well, Tony missed his opportunity to make a good first impression. So now let's meet Sherry. See if you would hire her.
Can I help you?
Yeah, I'm looking for a job.
What kind of a job are you looking for?
Well, I only want a part-time job.
Have you filled out an application?
Yeah.
Can you tell me your name? I'm having difficulty reading this.
Oh, yeah, it's Sherry.
Sherry, we do need a part-time waitress. What days are you available?
Well, I go to school all day, and weeknights I study. Saturdays are out, but I'd like to work Sundays.
So are you ready to hire Sherry? What kind of a first impression did she make on you? Did she look like she wanted to work? Was her application a red flag? I mean, her handwriting was illegible. More importantly, what suggestions would you give Sherry? Another job applicant that didn't know what job position she was seeking, right? If you were the employer, would you hire someone who chews gum, plays with her hair, has an application you can't read, and can only work on Sundays? Well, according to research done by John T. Malloy, the main thing employers are looking for when interviewing for part-time positions is reliability. Is that the message Sherry gave? Well, teens aren't the only ones who need help in making good first impressions. In fact, age has nothing to do with it. Let me introduce you to Margarita.
Have a seat, Jim. Hi, my name is Margarita. I need a job, please.
Good morning, Margarita. What kind of a job are you looking for?
I'm a hard worker, and I'll do anything.
Can you tell me something about yourself?
Well, sure. Right now. I live uptown with my boyfriend, and he doesn't have a job. I need to work. Okay. You guys, please. You're driving me crazy. I'm just so nervous. I'm sorry. But I'll do anything.
I don't know about you, but I sympathize with her. Her children were a challenge, right? Especially the baby. But does sympathy get you a job? What should she have done with her children? How did you feel about the way she dressed? Do you think the employer wanted to know about her personal life? Why don't you give Margarita some advice? Margarita was wearing bright, colorful clothing and great jewelry. The question here is, was it appropriate for an interview? During an interview, a good rule to remember is not to wear anything that will distract the employer from the message you want to give, your strengths and abilities. We want employers to listen to why they should hire us, right? And not just watch our earrings bobbing. And where do children belong when we job search? We need to prove to employers that our children are not going to be a problem. Did Margarita give that message in the interview? Did she prove to you that there are good reasons to hire her? And hire her for what? Margarita needed your help in making a positive first impression. Margarita has a challenge with her young children. Mary has a different challenge.
Good morning. May I help you?
Yes, my name is Mary Miller. I'm here about the receptionist position.
Hello, Mary. Please have a chair. Why don't you tell me something about yourself?
Well, I was married for 22 years. I have 3 children. I'm separated, but I think he's coming back.
I see. Well, do you have any experience or qualifications for this job?
No, I'm just a housewife.
Do you have any special skills?
Well, no, all I've ever done is stay home and take care of my family, but I really need the benefits.
What was your first impression of Mary? In the first few seconds, would you have hired her? I thought, wow, here is a winner. But what happened? I know you can help Mary. Mary was neat and clean and was wearing an attractive suit, wasn't she? She looked like a receptionist. But was she responsive? Did she know how to sell her strengths? Was she right in saying she had no skills or abilities? She needs to inventory the skills and qualities that mothers possess. And she needs to be enthusiastic about working. If you were the employer, would you be impressed by her needing your benefit package while not being able to sell any of her strengths? Mary needs to believe in herself. However, Joe has a different challenge.
Good morning, my name is Joe Barnes, and I'm here about the management position. You should already have my resume.
Good morning, Joe. Yes, I have your resume. Please have a chair. Can you tell me about your management experience?
My management experience? Well, where do I begin? I practically wrote the book on it. That's all. I've been in management for at least 20 years, and I wouldn't be looking for work now if I'd ever had an employer who appreciated my skills and abilities. Actually, I think they're jealous of me and my ability, and I've been a threat to them. I've also found that women are basically insecure in management, and consequently, they're very difficult to work with. In fact, I've discovered that a lot of people are jealous of my management skills. It isn't just women, but men too. When you have what it takes, a lot of people just plain don't like it.
Wow, have you ever worked with a Joe? He may have had some experience, but does it make up for his attitude? And maybe you were impressed with his suit, but is packaging enough? I'll bet you have some advice for Joe. One of Joe's fatal mistakes was to talk negatively about former employers. Employers are afraid that if we talk negatively about the employers, we'll talk about them too. And that makes sense, right? Another employer fears that employees will not be loyal. Regardless of how we feel about our past experiences, responsiveness in an interview includes a positive attitude. So far, we've not seen a good example of packaging and appearance. Let's meet Carl.
Hello, my name is Carl Ryan, and I'm here about your cook position.
Hello, Carl. Please have a chair. Carl, why don't you tell me something about yourself?
Well, I'm originally from Clark City, where I worked on the family farm, and so I'm used to hard work. I'm also used to getting up early. I made some mistakes in the past. I quit school to get married, and though I don't regret being married, I'm sorry I quit school, so I'm completing my education at night. My goal is to become a hotel manager.
Then why would we hire you for our cook's position?
I'm not afraid of hard work. I cooked on the farm and I cooked at home. I'm good at following directions, and I'm willing to learn the job your way. Besides, I really want to work for you.
Well, what was your first impression of Carl before he said anything? Are there things you wish he had done before the interview? What suggestions do you have for him? What did Carl have going for him? Responsiveness? You bet. I liked him, didn't you? Would he have made a good employee? Probably yes. But now you should be seeing Carl from an employer's point of view. Do you want a cook who never washes his hands? Who wears a dirty apron? Well, that's the message sent from a person who doesn't take the time to iron his shirt or shave his face. And women need to be conscious of being neat and clean too, of course. When we don't take the time to dress neatly and appropriately for an interview, no matter what position we're seeking, employers may think this is an example of how we'll look or how our work will look. We're not talking expensive dressing. We're talking appropriate, neat, and clean. Just think how Carl would have looked to us if he had shaved and ironed his shirt. Are you beginning to see what turns employers off during an interview? Well, we've seen Tony.
And don't you have a phone book?
Sherry.
Saturdays are out, but I'd like to work Sundays.
Margarita.
Hi, my name is Margarita. I need a job, please.
Mary.
No, I'm just a housewife.
Joe.
In fact, I've discovered that a lot of people are jealous of my management skills.
And Carl.
Besides, I really want to work for you.
Packaging and responsiveness really makes a difference, doesn't it? Finally, there is one more person I'd like you to meet.
How do you do, Mr. Smith? My name is Rose Brown, and I'm here to apply for your cashier position. Here's my application and resume.
Hello, Rose. Please have a chair. Why don't you tell me something about yourself?
Thank you. Well, I've been at home with my children, and they're in school. They support my decision to return to work, and I have excellent daycare. While I was at home, I held Tupperware and home interior parties. They've been very successful and have helped me realize I like working with people and that I'm good at keeping accurate records. My goal is to become a bookkeeper with a progressive and positive company. That's why I'm applying for this position. I could use my math skills as a cashier and continue to work with the public.
Great. Do you have any questions for me?
Yes, I do. I'd like to know what kind of person you're looking for to fill this position.
That's a good question. Actually, we do like to train people our own way. However, we want a cashier that is able to handle stress and to present a positive image of our company to the public. We're looking for someone who is eager to learn, but already knows how to be courteous and positive.
Well, I'm glad to hear you like to train your people that way, because I'm very eager to learn new skills. I've been taking a correspondence course in bookkeeping, and I love it. As a parent, I've also had the opportunity to learn how to handle stress. As far as representing you in a positive way, I've been learning to handle a variety of people with my home sales experience and know how important it is to be tactful and helpful to one's customers. I think these experiences, or my experiences, would be valuable to you in this position.
That sounds good, Rose. What kind of a salary do you expect?
What would you pay someone with my experience?
This position begins at minimum wage, but we will review the salary after the first month's performance.
That sounds fair. I'm eager to prove myself and to eventually advance in the company if the opportunity arises.
Rose, thanks for coming in. We'll let you know within 2 weeks.
Well, thank you, Mr. Smith, for taking the time to visit with me. I look forward to hearing from you, and I hope you know how much I would like to work for you in this company.
And now you've met Rose. What did you think? What was your first impression of her? Was it a plus that she introduced herself, knew the employer's name, knew the position she was seeking, and that she shook the employer's hand? What a way to begin an interview. Was she dressed impressively? Not impressive, but her clothes were appropriate and neat and clean, and she didn't wear anything that distracted from her message, did she? And what about her message? She didn't have a great work history, but she was able to prove that she had transferable skills that the employer could use. Did she eliminate fears that her children would be a problem? Yes. She took the time to explain that they were supportive and that she had daycare. And what about her salary? Wasn't she smart to let the employer give the amount first? When we're offered the job, we're in a better position to negotiate a salary. Finally, did you like her? Would you like to work with her? Remember, that's the key. Employers hire people they like. You've just had the opportunity to see job seekers through the eyes of an employer. Do you see why employers make the decisions they do? What did you learn about packaging and responsiveness? Let's review a list of to-dos for making a positive first impression. Remember those first 7 seconds and make them count. Open the interview by introducing yourself and use the employer's name. State the position you're seeking. Shake the employer's hand and be sure your packaging includes your neat and complete application or resume. You don't have to wear expensive clothing, but appear neat and clean and appropriately dressed. Know about the company and sell your strengths. Show liking, be sincere, be enthusiastic, and use a sense of humor. And finally, don't forget to tell the employer you want to work. Interviewing is the most important step in job seeking. It pays us to do our homework. When we're prepared, we feel good about ourselves, and we're ready to make that lasting first impression.